Hey guys, welcome to Trainfest 2017 here in Milwaukee. We start this video off with the presentation of the People's Choice Awards. For those of you who don't know, my viewers vote on a category every year, and they give me suggestions for a category every year. And this year's suggestion was Most Improved Product, and this year's winner is InterMountain Railway Company. So I want to thank Ron Engstead and Doug for your hard work on a lot of your products that you're continuing to improve, from the Tier 4 Gevo to your next run of Gevos, which will have improved motors from what I hear. So thanks for your hard work. The winner for the voting end was Joel's Train, YouTube username Joel's Train. And with that said, we're going to get started and kick off coverage here of the 2017 Milwaukee Trainfest next, right here at the InterMountain. So we've got a new cab forward and in-scale and HO scale coming from InterMountain. Now these cab forwards, they have got sharp painting and lettering. They're going to have they've got the drive that they've had in the last run. Directional lighting, factory equipped with ESU Loc sound, which in my opinion is the best in steam. So very good, very nice product rerun. And in-scale cab forward to look forward to. We've also got the 4785 covered hopper, and that is a pre-production model there. And as you can see, this is the late end frame version. In HO and N, you've got CSX, Penn Central, Conrail, Milwaukee Road, Central Soya, Conrail, again in a different scheme, MKT, Norfolk Southern, Lohoff, and an undecorated kit version. You've got the updated drive in the Gevos, Tier 3 Gevos that'll be coming out. And it's going to have a larger, more powerful motor. It's got a die-cast chassis and high-ad trucks, and they're going to put the rotating bearing caps in there. So a lot of the improvements you see on the Tier 4 Gevo was going to be re-released in the Tier 3. And then, of course, you got the Tier 4 Gevo coming out in scale, and you see the HO scale models there. So we've got pre-production samples of the SD40T-2 tunnel motor locomotive, and we also have a lot of detail on this. You can see there's going to be some see-through see-through grill detail on the back end. Plastic sample here, obviously undecoed, but that's coming soon. You got some in-scale items, including the Superdome passenger cars, Trinity 5161 cubic foot hoppers up top. And then you've got their SD40-2s, which we just did a review on not too long ago. And lots of variations of the SD40-2s. So the guys at InterMountain weren't too big fans of the Oakland Raiders shirt that I wear on occasion. So they've gifted me this Broncos shirt that you'll now see on occasion in place of the Oakland Raiders shirt. Here at the Walthers booth, we have Zach Thompson from Walthers. You may see him on their Facebook page. But Zach's going to go over some products they have here at Walthers that they haven't shown before, and some other things in the works. So Zach, what do we have here for the Walthers booth?
Well, we'll start out with Walthers Proto, where we've got a lot of new tools that we're showing off and some stuff that just isn't even out yet. A lot of cases, these are first looks for people that are at home that are seeing this on your video. So we'll start off with the Jordan Spreader. You can see we've got a pre-production sample here. This is different than the National Train Show pre-production sample that we had, where we had a horizontal tank on the back. We've got a vertical tank on the back for this one. We've got a different headlight configuration. We do that per road. We have these different features that you can put in per road. It's a gorgeous car, and that's going to be coming out real soon. That's a brand new tool. Just to the right of that, we've got the brand new 55-foot Trinity Modified 30,000 gallon tank car. So this particular tank car, this is a different version. This is a newer version of a Trinity tank car that's on the rails today. And you can see that it's got new shielding on the end. This is an etched metal shielding, and then it's got a different etched metal platform. They had to adjust that when they added the shielding to it, so it's a safer car. And then on the top, they've got new multi-valve housing that complies with the FRA standards. So this is a somewhat similar looking car to something that people have seen on the rails today, but then also it's something that is much more modern than our prior 30,000 gallon tank car. So it's a good looking new car. This is coming out real soon. We just have the pre-production prototype model here. Above that, we've got some brand new F7s that are coming out in December with all road-specific features on them. And then to the right of that, we've got the GP35 Phase 2. This is a new tool. This is only the second run of this particular tool, and it's tooled up to be specific to Phase 2. So they've all got road-specific features. You can see on the GM&O here, very good-looking scheme, very fine details, horn placement, dynamic brakes or not. It's got all the different features that you could possibly want to make it a realistic-looking prototype. Okay, so then we've also got a lot of Cornerstone products that we're showing off at the booth. Mentionably, the UPS theme products that we have. So we've got a distribution center and a customer hub that's got a customer entrance to it. And this looks like a lot of different UPS distribution centers across America. It's got RailServe and RoadServe connected to it on the front and back. Just above that, we have the UPS store, which is a modern brick building. This is typical of where you would find a UPS store is modern brick buildings like this. And there's drop boxes, like you saw at the distribution center. There's drop boxes that come with that too, just kind of add that extra realism. And then we have a lot of vehicles. We have a lot of trailers, international trucks, delivery trucks, package cars, and the modelers really seem to be going for these things. I mean, it's very authentic. It's licensed. We've been working with UPS to make sure that the colors are all very authentic. We go through a pretty painstaking approval process to make sure we got it exactly right before we bring it out as a model. All right, so this is a new, brand new announcement at the show, the Walthers Mainline 60-foot Pullman Standard General Service flat car. We have 4 different configurations that we're building with this, with 4 different types of decks, either for general service, trailer loading, container loading, or for heavy equipment loading. So this is a brand new announcement. These are coming in April, and this is a first look at it with pre-production samples. There are going to be roads that we bring out on this that have uses and that use that particular type of service, and we're going to match the type of service to the road. All right, so this is a brand new Walthers Mainline GEVO units. This is a brand new tool for us. This is the first run of this tool. These are coming in December, so you can see we've got all the Class 1 railroads, CSX, CN, BNSF, UP, and NS. We've got Canadian Pacific. It's a good-looking locomotive. It's pretty affordable, $129.98 for the standard DC version and $200 for the sounded DCC version. And it's going to be a nice detailed locomotive for those of your viewers that are familiar with our SD70As. It's built in the same kind of way. And then over to the right of that, we do have the next run of SD70 Aces that were announced in our October flyer. These are all new paint schemes, or I should say at least 3 of them are new paint schemes. We've got new numbers on 2 existing paint schemes. Starting off with NS and CSX, we've got the Providence and Worcester, which I just pronounced wrong, and then Ferromex and CN in the X demonstrator scheme. And CN had 3 units that look like that. It's a pretty cool looking scheme.
Here at Tangent Scale Models with Dave Leilbach of Tangent Scale Models.
Good morning, James. How are you doing?
Good. So we're going to talk about some products they have in the works or on the way to modelers. So let's take it away with Dave here. What you got?
All right. Well, thanks for letting us talk today. We've got 7 new PS 4750 covered hoppers, and these are all brand new cars that represent the early production of Pullman standard covered hoppers. These are all the ones with closed holes at the bottom of the side posts, and that's what makes them distinctive amongst other detail reasons. These cars are all individually set up for each of the railroads that they represent. Different roof walks, different detail parts, different outlet gates. We've really gone the whole 9 yards here to make sure that we get all these cars absolutely correct, like we've done with our 4750s in the past. This does represent new tooling for us, though. It's a brand new body. Because of the closed hole side posts. So this is another variation that allows us to do all the Pullman 4750s between 1972 and 1981.
So Dave, how much is this going to set us back for each model?
Okay, each of the models are $44.95. That's the same price point we've had now for the past 8 years on these cars and cars like it.
Here at the Broadway Limited booth with internet celebrity Ken Silvestri. You may have seen his Facebook videos on Broadway Limited's Facebook page. Pretty impressive following you got there.
Oh, well, thank you. Not as large as yours.
Yeah, he does it better than I do. But we got some good products we're going to talk about, Ken. And you want to start with a product that's great for kids?
Yeah, and it's something we love, and it's just a fun product. And they're called choo-choo shoes. Okay. And how they work is if the child just walks, there's no sound. But if they stomp their feet, they get... And if they put their feet together and jump, they get... And lastly, on the bottom are railroad tracks. And if they walk in sand or in water, they leave the impression of a railroad. And we've put them on kids, and they immediately start jumping around. And some of them don't have the coordination early on to do it, but it helps them learn it, and it makes them active. So it's a great product. We're sold out of the first shipment, and we'll have more in January.
Anytime you sell out, you know you're doing something right.
It's a wonderful thing. Yeah.
Great product, very innovative. When I first saw those, I thought, why didn't I think of that? And when somebody does that, you know you're doing it right. So
I appreciate it.
So that's the choo-choo shoes. Now we're going to get to the hobbyists and some of the cool products that HO and N you guys have coming out.
Yeah, let's start with the P5 Electric. This is a 3D rendering of it, and a 3D printed, and it's going to have operating pantographs, so they'll go up, and there'll be this sound with them that makes it look and feel real. And the Penske guys are just drooling for that locomotive. Then we have the N scale, and these are the cryogenic tank cars, the very first shots of those. And they're just beautiful cars, and you can kind of see how we mix plastic and etched brass and different metal parts into it to make a nicely detailed car.
Great products in N-Scale. I think that's a good market. N-Scale needs some great stuff, so good job there. And thanks for all this out-of-the-box thinking you guys do at Broadway Limited.
Oh, thank you. We love what we do.
Still a big fan of the Paragon 3 subwoofer.
Glad you mentioned that. Because here we have an N-Scale, and we have a smaller subwoofer, but it works exactly the same as the HO. And that's the M1A Paragon 3. Now, you hear the sound. We have the motor disconnected so it doesn't run off.
As you can see, Chris Palomares is quite busy engaged with the visitors. But one thing here we talked about last night on Facebook, on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/HO Scale Product Reviews, is the ST70 ACE. And this is the Union Pacific Spirit of 1943, or Spirit of Union Pacific 1943. Beautiful locomotive. I notice it really has a hard time getting the cameras to focus on it, I think because of a lot of the metallic appearance, but it's a beautiful locomotive.
I'm sure they would.
To honor the veterans, support the troops, etc. PTC antenna array. This will have LED lighting. It will have Tsunami 2 as well. The other thing is Athearn has that they just announced last night, SD40T-2 tunnel motor. You can see the back end, the grills, just a little bit of the motor showing, and a beautiful locomotive ready to roll. MSRP is going to be around $199 with sound. It's going to have economy in it. It's going to have a lot of features you can see here. If you need to pause your screen to read it, would highly suggest blowing this up to 1080p HD. So we're here at the MTH booth. Very busy morning. A lot of reps are busy gauging with customers, so I'm going to take over a lot of this. Just cut to the chase. O-scalers, I am jealous because you have this Southern Pacific 484 GS4. Number 4449 is actually decorated like this in the winter. And they've used LEDs to make the Christmas lights that are strung on this. This is an amazing model. It makes me want to go to O-scale. Hopefully they find a way to do this in HO, because that would be awesome. There's your MSRP. Also got several other items. We will shift back and forth from HO to some of the O-scale Christmas items. Here's a whole variety of HO items, re-releasing Dash 9s, or have already released them. You've got the Tier 3 GEVOs. And lots of varieties, including all the NS Heritage. Back to O-scale again. They've used this LED technology for Christmas lights to do the Canadian Pacific Christmas train, a representation of that. Beautiful in person to see. Christmas bridges with lights. The rolling stock bridge MSRPs for $149.95. 4-car double door plugged boxcar set. MSRPs for $319.95 in O-scale. And I don't see a price on the locomotive. Do you know the locomotive price, Rich, for this Canadian Pacific?
$429.95.
$429.95 for that. Then they're going to transition over. Another thing they really did a good job on, I think, was the 611 and the different Class J steam locomotives in HO. The whistle is the best I've heard from any steam whistle on a decoder. Going over here, more Christmas trains. They've got an HO version of this that's coming out soon, along with a Halloween version as well in HO and in O-scale. Then you've got these O-scale cars here. So very cool. Then you got your classic 10 plate over there as well. Another thing from the MTH booth is the Spirit of 1943, which you can see right here. And it is O-scale and HO scale versions coming out. O-scale $529.95. They've got a deco sample ready to go, including the camouflaged area in the back there and the grill. So there's the O-scale deco sample already here. We've got several items coming out from them, including structures. You've got the GS4s, Freedom Train and 4449. You got the Class J 611, all with new sound value from Soundtracks. Really big deal here is the Siemens ACS 64 electric locomotive. They've got a pre-production sample of that. Give that the look once around for you. New line of caboose. They've done a Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey car. And some Southern Pacific and Pennsylvania Railroad cars as well. And they've got some N-scale items coming out. Well, yeah, SD9 up at the end here. And then
Dash 8s?
Dash 8s, I'm sorry. Dash 8s there.
New ore cars.
And some ore cars. Also,
Old-time work cars.
got some old-time work cars at the end here. And then they're re-releasing,
Boxcar has Fred. See him looking up here.
or they're releasing for the first time, the Freds at the end. There, they blink. Pickup track power. And they're releasing these carnival kits as well. So we're here at Atlas booth with a familiar face, Craig Martin, previously of BLMA, now giving Atlas some assistance. Is that right, Craig?
That's right. Yeah.
Nice to see you, buddy. We thought
good to see you,
we thought you disappeared off the planet. We didn't know what happened.
No. Train shows is where I turn up.
Yeah. But he's going to go over some Atlas products for us, starting with what do we have, Craig?
So the first thing we have, and probably one of the biggest announcements for Atlas for the show, and especially for N-scalers, is the SD60E locomotive. This is an NS thing, for those of you that are familiar. It's the Crescent cab that they've modified these SD60s, but this is all new tooling. The whole body's different, the cab's different. It's got the PTC antenna array, grab irons, separately applied grab irons on the nose here. It even has working ditch lights. I mean, this thing is, for an N-scale model, warms my heart because I was into detail for so long, and to see this thing and the amount of detail on it is really, really cool. Another piece of all new tooling is the GP39-2. I don't have much information on it yet in terms of what paint schemes are going to come on it, but it's an all new body, all new tooling for it, and again, something that in the future we'll have a lot of information on. Okay, and then another big announcement for the show is the N-scale version of the ALP 45DP locomotive. That's a dual mode locomotive, and the commuter cars that go with it. So these are in two different paint schemes, NJ Transit. There's a Canadian version as well. Really, really cool. This, like the SD60E and the GP39-2, are going to come with sound. So N-scale models with sound, pretty incredible. I know ESU Lock Sound is working with them on this, and they should sound incredible when they come out. Two different paint schemes on this model here, like I said. And again, all new for N-scale. And if we pan over here, we've got the HO scale version as well. They've been released already in NJ Transit. Now we have the Canadian version here. There's some variations on the locomotive. I know there's like a 100th locomotive paint scheme. There's a Bombardier special edition paint scheme. So a lot of really cool stuff here. And here we have the O scale, or O gauge, Dash 8s. These have been on pre-order for years. They're finally coming in, and they look incredible. They're massive. I mean, O scale is just a big scale, especially for me since I've been so used to N scale for so long. But they look really, really great, and they'll be coming out for the O scalers very soon. Okay, so here at the HO scale side of the booth, we've got a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm proud of Atlas for having a smattering of, I love the word smattering, of early and modern different prototypes. We have GP38s and 40s, we have Alco S2s, We have some Pullman sleepers in the back there. We have some re-releases of the HO scale Trinity reefer that BLMA did and the 5660, along with some very modern 3-bay covered hoppers. And all the way over here on the right, we have our first responders locomotive, the NS special paint scheme with the tank car. Really, really cool stuff. And I think that's about it from the Atlas booth. Appreciate you guys coming by. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Booth here. They've got the MLW M636 samples here and several different schemes and variations. The MLW 630 is a new announcement. There's no deco samples of the 630 yet, right?
No, actually it's the that one, the M630, just brochures at the moment. No.
Yep, just brochures at the moment there. Baldwin AS16s, AS616s, DRS 6-6-1500 locomotives as well, all on this line, and that variation of Baldwin locomotives. So very cool here at the Bowser booth. There's their website if you want more information. They've got a couple trains running as well here, Trainfest 2017. So we're here at ScaleTrains.com's booth with Paul from Scale Trains. He flew all the way out here from California to talk just to you guys, only you, nobody else, about their new announcement, which is the C39-8 in Rivet Counter Series. So we're going to take a look at that, Paul, and you want to tell us what that's about?
Sure. Let's take a look over here. We've got the models up on the shelf and on the test track. Like you mentioned, we're doing a General Electric C39-8 locomotive. Early 1980s vintage GE, about 1983, 84 roughly is when they introduced them. It was kind of looking at the carbide design, it was almost kind of a transitional model between the Dash 7 series and the Dash 8s. It still retained the rounded cab roof contours of the Dash 7s, some of the Dash 7s, but look at the long hood, like the dynamic brake section, clean air section, and the short hood nose has that angular Dash 8 look, and as well as the large Dash 8 style radiators. Bought new by Norfolk Southern and Conrail. They lasted pretty long time for GE. The last of Norfolk Southern units were retired maybe about 10 years ago or so by now. And currently the only ones that are left remaining running in the United States that we're aware of are a pair of units on the Pennsylvania Northeastern, the patched out Conrail units and the 8211 and 8212. But neat looking locomotive. They got around all over the country. We photographed and have photos of Norfolk Southern units as far away as Southern California. Same thing with Conrail. They were operated onto the SP and other railroads, run through power or lease power. And it's a pretty neat engine, and I think it's going to sell pretty well for us. Pretty excited about it.
So very smart of you guys to take the existing, still on the rails locomotives and make those. A lot of companies, they pass over that and don't even realize it. So good move.
Thank you. Yeah, it's, like I said, we're pretty excited. Great looking engine, and we're pretty jazzed.
All right, and you still got your Tier 4 Gevos selling well. Another run of those coming.
Yep.
A couple other products here at the Scale Trains booth. Paul, thanks for your time. Thanks for flying all the way out from California.
No problem.
And being the guy behind the scenes,
no problem.
Doing all the work. I hear that Shane Wilson guy does nothing. So
I didn't say that, but I won't argue with that.
Just a rumor. Just a rumor.
Just a rumor.
All right. Well, thanks. microphone away, but Lionel has a prototype of the theater car I'm going to show you real quick. That is HO scale. It has a camera inside. See you right there. Going to wrap up our coverage of Milwaukee Trainfest 2017. I hope you enjoyed it. Back in the hotel room, about to go to editing so I can get this to you guys the same day as the train show happened. So I hope you guys appreciate that and get to see everything you wanted to see for those of you who couldn't make it. Final thoughts on the show: great products. Scale trains with the new announcement, the C39-8, very nice. One thing I noticed was the faded conrail on that, so right out of the factory you've got a lot of nice artwork done to the locomotive. You've also got the InterMountain tunnel motors. You saw a pre-production sample in the video, and Walthers with their Jordan spreader, very nice pre-production sample there. And a lot of great stuff throughout the show. I think the Lionel theater car will be a hit, even if it's not done, or even if it has a camera in it, for those folks who are very much prototype modelers. So apologize for the kind of state I'm in, but it has been a rough day. So that bed over here is going to be very comfortable here in a minute after I get done with editing. Thanks for watching Trainfest coverage of 2017. One other note, we didn't get to get ESU in there, but ESU Lokesound was swamped all day, and they've got a new Mobile 2 controller with a new station, and it has some very great capabilities as well, and we'll have a review coming up of that in the future. Alright, with that said, once again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.